Tonight on NAIT NewsWatch.
Talk to students about how their Christmas this year might be a bit different.
My parents are telling me that they're getting stricter right now as well. And they just kind of said, I don't know if you should come out this year.
Don Iveson's tenure as mayor is coming to a close.
After lots of reflection, today I am announcing that I've decided not to seek re-election next fall.
And how families can enjoy getting socially distanced Santa pictures this Christmas.
It's a bigger burden on our healthcare system, and so I just don't feel like Santa photos are so necessary that we really need to be going to do that right now.
NewsWatch starts now.
Good evening and welcome to NAIT NewsWatch. With shouts for more action this week, rising COVID numbers have forced the Alberta government's hand.
During a live press conference that took place this past Tuesday, Jason Kenney and Dr. Dina Hinshaw spoke on new COVID-19 protocols for Alberta that is set to take place effective immediately.
The existing municipal masking bylaws in place in those communities.
Ever since the beginning of the pandemic, masks became a mandate and a bylaw. Recently, the Edmonton City Council extended the mask mandate until December 31st, 2021, as Alberta reaches 500 COVID-related deaths and 1,265 new cases.
You believe these are the minimum restrictions needed right now to safeguard our healthcare system while avoiding widespread damage to people's livelihoods? We are doing everything we can to strike that balance.
Peace officers have been given the power to give fines to those who refuse to wear masks or comply with the new restrictions put in place. The fine can be up to $500 for not wearing a mask.
With the fall semester wrapping up, students are facing some tough decisions in light of the holiday season.
Students studying away from home are wondering if they're going to be going home this year. Our Carly McKenna joins us live from our news center with more on that story.
Thanks, guys. And one thing is definitely for sure, this holiday season is definitely going to look different. With COVID-19 cases on the rise and breaking records almost daily, health officials such as Dr. Dina Hinshaw are urging Albertans to stay home this holiday season. But how are students dealing with the idea that they may be isolated and alone for the holiday season? Just looking around, you can see the holiday season is underway. But with COVID-19 cases in Alberta breaking records almost daily, many students are struggling with the idea of not being able to head home for the holidays. For Elijah O'Donnell, his plans to spend winter break with his family have been put on hold.
Most obviously just because of COVID, right? My mom is just kind of worried about cases. We live in a really small community in BC, and they haven't had any kind of cases there, I believe. And well, it would suck to be the one to bring it to Grand Forks, you know.
Tanya Spencer, a clinical psychologist and the lead for student counseling and chaplaincy at NAIT, says it is normal for students not going home to feel more isolated this holiday season than usual.
I think COVID's added an additional layer to all of this, but I think for a lot of people, the holidays are a lonely time. And they're not always an easy time.
Spencer says this loneliness can also be a reason why students are still planning to go home this year.
I decided to go home just because I have really missed my family. I haven't seen them since the end of August, so I am just kind of feeling a little isolated, and I kind of want to make a little connection over the holidays.
Carly, did you uncover any advice for students who are maybe feeling isolated right now?
Tanya Spencer, a clinical psychologist and the lead for student counseling and chaplaincy at NAIT, says having a daily routine filled with 10-minute walks and a cup of tea can actually be very helpful for your mental health. She also suggests picking up a new hobby with a tangible outcome like painting to also help you keep busy this holiday season.
Also, Carly, for those who are planning to go home this winter, what are some ways they can stay safe?
Maintaining physical distancing from your family and wearing a mask when you aren't able to do so can help keep you and your loved ones safe.
That's Carly McKenna reporting live from our news center tonight.
You're watching NAIT NewsWatch, the next generation of news.
Christmas is only 4 weeks away from today. It looks like Santa has found a way to visit local children this holiday season.
Yeah, that's right. Old St. Nick's creativity is definitely being put to the test this year, but he's still finding ways to collect wish lists. For more on Kris Kringle, Karen Park joins us from West Edmonton Mall. Karen?
Thanks, guys. It is still possible to visit Santa Claus face-to-face this holiday season. But this year, the Santa won't allow children on site and will continue the physical distancing. The Santa has arrived at the West Edmonton Mall on November 14th to get Christmas wishes from local children and pose for photos. While there will be no direct contact with Santa at all, a COVID-friendly photo session will go ahead even with the province having the most active cases than any other Canadian provinces.
Christmas photos is an annual tradition for many families out there, and we wanted to provide a safe options for people this year to be able to attend. Even during this type of social climate, we feel that bringing the holiday joy into here is very important.
To avoid standing in a line right next to each other waiting for the turn, the West Edmonton Mall requires the online booking before coming for photo session.
Once you get into the space, which is exclusive to you for that entire booking, Santa is standing from the porch, and you do get to take photos from his sleigh from a safe distance. Masks do have to be worn at all times.
While many parents feel safe about the event, some other parents are concerning more about public health workers in front lines.
The case numbers are so high, and they're getting exponentially higher day by day. It's just going to get worse and worse, and it's a bigger burden on our healthcare system. And so I just don't feel like Santa photos are so necessary that we really need to be going to do that right now.
As Alberta government rolled out stricter COVID-19 measures on this Tuesday, the local events are highly focused on providing a safe and enjoyable experiences to visitors. Let's not forget about the safety and continue to protect ourselves. This has been Karen Park from NAIT NewsWatch.
Once again, that's Karen Park reporting live from West Edmonton Mall. Changing gears to local politics, Edmontonians were hit with some surprising news this week as Mayor Iveson revealed that his tenure with the city is coming to a close.
After lots of reflection, today I am announcing that I've decided not to seek re-election next fall.
Iveson joined City Council in 2007, and just 6 years later, he was elected mayor. In 2017, he was re-elected with more than 70% of the vote, but the 41-year-old says that he never anticipated serving more than 2 terms. He addressed the city on Monday.
So there'll be a lot of time to reflect in the year ahead, but I wanted to take this moment to say that it has been the honor and privilege of my life to serve the people of this wonderful and resilient city.
With 11 months until the city's next election, Iveson plans to focus the remainder of his term on delivering a budget with no tax increase, creating new job opportunities, and of course, supporting Edmontonians through the pandemic.
You may see something new in the skies above later this month. The new EPS Air 2 helicopter, which was approved in the 2019 budget, is set to go into action at the end of November. The cost of the whole operation came to just under $6 million, which was $250,000 under the original budget. The EPS helicopters,
kind of in a marshy place, they drifted completely to the other side of
the EPS helicopters are used to stop crimes that on-road policemen find harder to contain. Crimes including locating missing persons, monitoring fleeing vehicles, and also assisting police officers with in-air surveillance. The helicopters attend to over 3,000 calls per year with a response time of only 60 seconds.
This helicopter provides a number of operational upgrades, so it can carry much more fuel, which gives us more time in the air, which allows us to respond to calls and support our frontline officers.
The air crew is not needed to be trained on 2 different helicopters, as the aircraft uses the same efficiency as the previous one. This new model is expected to last a minimum of 20 years.
Food delivery services such as DoorDash have become increasingly popular in recent months, but in Calgary, a group of local businesses are teaming up to skip third-party involvement while keeping revenues in the city. Best of Calgary Foods is a new owner-operated delivery service that combines 24 local businesses. They have their own drivers, their own website, and offer a flat delivery charge of $10 all across the city. Janine Norman helped found the Culinary Coalition. She says that the community response is overwhelming.
We overshot 3 times our estimate. We put it out there in the hopes that it would be accepted, and Calgarians have just stepped up to the plate and said, yes, we want to help you.
By avoiding the use of third-party delivery giants, the restaurants and grocers can avoid commission fees that can take away up to 40% of an individual sale. Norman says that she hopes to see more community delivery services and encourages Albertans to support local.
Coming up after the break, we explore the ups and downs of online learning.
With the semester coming to a close, staff and students are taking time to reflect on their online experiences.
Some students seem to really like learning online. NAIT historically has been very married to the in-class version of learning. I've never seen another post-secondary where people spent so much time in class.
Tyler Smith from NAIT NewsWatch. Team Canada has a new chef de mission. Edmonton Football Club is in the final stretch of finding their new name. And although I'm wearing my ski jacket, that doesn't mean I can just hop on the hill. All that and more in NAIT NewsWatch Sports.
Hi, I'm Destiny Mayor with NAIT NewsWatch Weather, and this weekend we're in for a big surprise. You might even want to go and hit the slopes. All that and more coming up after the break.
Well, Tate, as the both of us are fellow Calgarians, we're not really sure how the weather has been in Edmonton.
Yeah, I mean, in Calgary, it's been nice this week. I've seen people out putting their Christmas lights up. I wonder if this weekend might be a good opportunity for Edmontonians. Let's check in with Destiny Mayor with weather.
You know, guys, it's going to be good weather for both Calgary and Edmonton to put up some Christmas lights. And with a low chance of flurries, it's unlikely that your ladder is going to slip out from underneath you. Well, let's start with our forecasts. In Calgary, we have a high of 2 and a low of -2. So if you want to go out for a walk, it'll be a great time to do so, maybe even hit the slopes. And in Jasper, it's going to be a little bit colder with a low of -12 and a high of -7. If you are going to go skiing in Jasper or spend the weekend away, make sure you're following all social distancing guidelines and you bundle up a little bit. And in Fort McMurray, we're going to have a high of -1 and a low of -6 and very little chance of showers, and it's going to be mainly sunny. And moving on to our Edmonton forecast, it's going to have a high of -1 and a low of -7. It's going to be a 30% chance of flurries, but that's only early in the morning. It's supposed to be nice and sunny in the afternoon. And with our averages, we have an average high of -2 and an average low of 11. And with our records being at 13 degrees high in 1956 and a record low of -33 in 1887. The weather is going to be great this weekend. Make sure you're getting up all those decorations before it gets cold again. That's all I have for weather. Back to you guys in the studio.
NewsWatch Weather is brought to you by NR92, the station for the students.
It's been a year to remember for post-secondary learning, one that many students and staff hope will not be repeated next year.
Adapting to the online environment is soon coming to a close for this semester, but for some, the transition has not been as difficult as first thought. Jaden Mikatuk with more.
"2020 has brought its ups and downs for most students, although some students have taken a liking to online learning.
I like having control and just it's in my hands, you know, just give me the assignments, I'll do them, and just trust that I can do it my way.
Although some students have taken a liking to online learning, some teachers still believe that there needs to be an in-person aspect to learning at NAIT.
It's been incredibly challenging, and it still is challenging because the online is good for, it's supposed to be a complement. It's not supposed to be a 100% thing.
There are many pros and cons to learning online. Statistics show students in grades 6 to 12 have had a decrease in grades while learning online, but in most post-secondary institutions, the retention of information has increased to 25 to 60% higher than previous years.
Their other strengths have compensated for those for so many years. I think that's one reason why NAIT's hands-on learning is such a boon to so many people, and people succeed at NAIT.
Passed since Alberta last held host to the IIHF World Championships. You know, I'll always remember that tournament in Calgary, the gold medal game where Mika Zibanejad won it for the Swedes in OT. You remember that?
That was that 1-0 game, right?
Yeah, I believe so. It was a heartbreaking tournament for Canada, but regardless, I digress.
Anyways, the tournament is set to return to Edmonton this season. But first, Tyler Smith has some news in the world of Ooks hockey. Tyler?
Yeah, thanks guys. Although new restrictions and regulations wouldn't allow the NAIT men's hockey team to practice anyways, 4 players from the team have recently tested positive for COVID-19. Individuals who may have been impacted have been contacted directly. A couple weeks ago, this was the sound in the NAIT arena, with both the men's and women's hockey teams practicing away even though the ACAC canceled their seasons. But now, both teams are sidelined yet again due to the confirmed cases within the team.
I think it's just the momentum up and down. It's like 1 week we'll have an unreal week of practice and be talking about exhibition games. Next week someone tests positive and we're shut down for the entire week. This kind of gets a little repetitive.
For now, operations will be put to a stop, but practicing or exhibition games for both teams in the future is still up in the air as the new year approaches. A time unlike any other, the World Juniors, where families all across the country huddle up in front of their TVs to watch Team Canada try and achieve that prestigious gold medal. From names like Connor McDavid and Wayne Gretzky, Edmonton area's own Caden Gooley, Matthew Robertson, and Kirby Dock look to join these Canadian icons as they fight for spots on the Canadian team. But another recent COVID-19 related setback has the camp currently on pause.
Now it becomes about Hockey Canada trying to figure out a way to make this 14 days work with these players, right? Because they've got, they got highly tuned athletes sitting in hotel rooms for the next 2 weeks who are supposed to compete in one of the most intense international competitions in hockey.
A 14-day quarantine for all staff, coaches, and players has begun after 3 confirmed cases of COVID-19. Exhibition games against the U of A Golden Bears were supposed to take place this weekend, but now preparations for Canada's championship defense at this year's tournament will have to wait. Similar to the sport of golf, skiing and snowboarding have been deemed sports that are able to take place even through the pandemic. The Edmonton area has 3 main ski hills, which are already seeing and feeling the early season success. The sights and sounds of snow sports are back. Skiers and snowboarders of all ages are already getting their runs in on the slopes. Rabbit Hill, Sunridge, and Snow Valley have already had to suspend the sale of season passes due to the high demand thus far.
And it's something the whole family can do together, right? And it's always been that way, but now they're taking advantage of it. I mean, just like cross-country skiing and snowshoeing, those are all really picking up because of the availability of just being able to get outdoors. But this week, lessons have started, lesson programs.
Individual or group lessons are seeing an influx in numbers due to the greater amount of kids and newcomers taking up the sports. Single-day lift tickets for Snow Valley need to be pre-purchased online at snowvalley.ca. Dating back to 1949, when the green and gold Edmonton Eskimos were founded, now 14 Grey Cups later, it's time for a new name.
It's not just the team that they're a fan of, it's the franchise itself. So I think changing is going to be very difficult for a lot of Eskimos fans.
The Edmonton football team is a community-owned team with rich history within Edmonton and its fan base, but change is inevitable.
It's a must that somehow the community of Edmonton, people in Edmonton, need to feel like they can have a say in what might happen.
The green and gold will stay, and so will the EE logo. Now, it's not a contest, nor does it have prize money involved, but ultimate bragging rights could be had if your name is chosen. Suggestions will be taken on esks.com until December 1st.
She's an icon in the speed skating world. She's an icon in the speed skating world.
Precarious times have put a delay on the 2020 Summer Olympics in Japan, but the 2022 Canadian team for the Winter Olympics in Beijing have announced the individual that will lead them into the Games.
She's an icon in the speed skating world. She's a true legend. She's been an inspiration for many kids, a role model.
Katrina Lemaidon is a double Olympic champion in the 500 meter for speed skating. Countless records, World Cups, and personal achievements was not enough for Katrina. Chef de mission for Team Canada was the next step, and now that step has been reached.
Really, for that Olympic world and life of mine to come full circle. Going into the Games, I want to know the athletes. I want them to know that I'm there for them in whatever way, and I'm going to have their back.
The Olympic Oval in Calgary is where Katrina has set 4 records and is also where her speed skating journey began. And now, instead of hearing that gun at the start line of her own races, she'll be helping her Canadian athletes strive for gold on the world's biggest stage.
Speaking of Olympic medals, Tyler, it's a pretty impressive stash you got going there. You going for gold or what?
You know what, this could be a podium. I will say, if the Olympics had a sport for best mustache, I might stand up top with Tom Selleck on my right, Hulk Hogan on my left, who knows?
Respectfully, I'm going to have to disagree. I was thinking more Lanny McDonald.
I'll take that.
After the break, we check out a local donation drive that looks to support those in isolation.
This is teaming up with local charities to help brighten the holiday season for seniors.
It's a segment of the population that may get forgotten this time of year.
You're watching NAIT NewsWatch, the next generation of news.
Seniors are set to face some unique challenges this holiday season as their ability to socialize with friends and family could be limited.
But London Drugs is taking action to counter this potential by giving Canadians a chance to show the elderly that they're not alone.
It's a segment of the population that may get forgotten this time of year.
Stocking Stuffers for Seniors is a month-long donation drive that seeks to gather gifts for those in isolation. In partnership with local charities, London Drugs is collecting wish lists from seniors so the store can share them with gift givers.
We know depression and other mental health concerns are really high around the holidays if you don't have that family, that sense of community. So getting a small gift from someone in your community can really make a big difference.
Participants can drop off their gifts at any London Drugs store, and they're encouraged to include a holiday card as well. Donations are being accepted until December 16th. A NAIT alumni is using his degree to create a more sustainable way of gardening at home.
With the press of one button, you can have fresh greens in a week. Chelsea McKay has more.
Jonathan Mew graduated from the NAIT Digital Media and IT program in April of 2020. During his time at NAIT, he created the company AgriOLabs, where they aim to help reduce household food waste by growing food at home.
So, veggies and herbs at home, and at the time I was living in a super tiny apartment. And I was also a busy student, and I was also driving for Skip the Dishes, so basically had no time on my hands.
Mew lived in a basement apartment with no window light at the time, so he had to find an alternate way to grow a garden. After searching for hours and finding products that weren't the right fit, he decided to design his own.
So yeah, I got a 3D printer, started prototyping, slapping some electronics together, just testing things iteration after iteration, and then 300 iterations later, it's oh wow, hey, I have a product that works.
The product is called the Micro. It is a stackable, self-enclosed garden for fresh and sustainable microgreens that grow by LED lights and needs minimal care. The prices range between $100 to $250.
The entire idea that it's built in entirely around user experience. So you don't need light, it's self-lit. You don't need to really water it. You water it once a week and that's it. Generally, one watering will actually bring it from seed to harvest. So
he was able to launch the product with the help of NAIT's Maji Center for New Venture and Entrepreneurship students. The center gave him opportunities to get funding from pitch competitions and partnered him with mentors like Jeff Stewart, who gave him entrepreneurial guidance throughout.
Talked about was making it the size that would actually replace like your utensil drawer. So it's not sitting on your counter, it's actually a drawer in your kitchen. And you open the drawer and inside the drawer is your food growing. It's really cool.
Jonathan Mee doesn't plan on stopping yet. He hopes to add a self-harvesting feature and to be able to grow full-size veggies in the near future. If you want to snag one of these grow boxes, you can pre-order for March of 2021 at agriolabs.ca. This is Chelsea McKay, NAIT NewsWatch.
Thanks, Chelsea. Dave, you consider yourself much of a gardener?
I'm not really fond of gardening, but I do enjoy a nice-looking garden. What about yourself, Tate?
You know what? I'm kind of struggling to look after myself these days, so I don't think I can handle the added responsibility of a plant.
Well, if we're both out on the gardening front, maybe Adam Serink has something else we can get up to this weekend.
Yeah, guys, I've got the dirt on what to do this weekend, and I know how much you both like to skate, and I'm sure we can all agree that it's getting tougher and tougher to find a place to lace up. But if you're feeling up to it, the massive Victoria Oval has just opened back up for the season. With COVID regulations in effect, this Olympic-sized ice is perfect for both social distancing and burning off a little of that COVID weight.
I think it's good so people can unwind and get out of the house. Everyone doesn't have a lot of things to do nowadays.
The 400-meter surface and the skating trail that loops around it will be open from 10 to 10. But with this weekend's weather, be sure to check the city's website for ice conditions before you head out. You know, I'm willing to bet you've never hopped on the LRT for a cultural tour of the stations, but you really should consider it.
We partnered with ETFs and a few other sponsors and partners to create these murals at 5 different LRT stations around the city, and each mural is based on community consultation with a different group of communities.
But the Paint the Rails project hasn't ended with just 5 murals.
And then also we have this augmented reality app that's in prototype phase right now. So it actually allows you to look through your phone on this free app and see animations appear over top of the murals. So the murals come to life in a new way when you get to engage with them digitally.
The John Humphrey Center for Peace and Human Rights has also collaborated with these artists, releasing a coloring book with even more stories of heritage and Edmonton's cultural pasts. The book is available for purchase through their website. There may have been many hurdles we've had to jump through during the pandemic, but one U of A student athlete is using this time to get her foot in the door of the shoe business.
Come on, Cass! Come on, Snyder, go, 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 go!
Despite a hectic schedule as she balances school and track, Cassandra Grenke has spent her last 2 years working on Kicks by Cass, an Instagram-based venture that customizes shoes mailed in by customers. But don't expect a new pair for Christmas.
I have 25 people on my wait list, so I'm booked pretty much through till the beginning of April right now.
And despite not working on her shoes full-time, Cassandra has completed over 70 pairs of shoes to date, and she says there'll be more on the way. A winter wonder forest will be coming alive for the first time tonight, and you can enjoy it all from the comfort of your own vehicle. Last night, I had an early opportunity to check out the True Start Foundation's event, and I was blown away. The lights are spectacular, and you don't have to get out of your vehicle to see that. I even got to talk to Santa and Mrs. Claus, although my attempt to join them on their returning flight home came with a mixed response.
Because we're very busy at the North Pole. I have to keep those elves
working away and on task.
Well, I may not be heading to the North Pole, but the Rainbow Valley Campground has the next best thing. If you like bright lights, ice carvings, or snow sculptures, you should be sure to check out winterwonderforest.ca for tickets. All of the proceeds from every ticket sold will go towards the True Start Foundation. An Edmonton-raised artist has been showing his appreciation for frontline workers through the way he knows best, portrait painting. Mia Hildebrandt has more.
Tim Okamura is painting a picture of COVID-19 many of us have never seen before. The Edmonton native, now living in New York, had the opportunity to meet with some frontline heroes.
I got invited to basically come up to the COVID unit, which by that time had, calmed down significantly. And I was able to talk to the nurses and get, firsthand accounts of their stories. And
after hearing from them, he undertook the project of creating a healthcare worker portrait painting series.
It's a great intersection, of my work as a portrait artist, my sort of social consciousness and desire to give back.
Living in New York, which was a hotspot for COVID-19, having the virus himself in March and losing some close family and friends, he knows the impact of it firsthand.
The first truck was set up, I guess, maybe early April, and that weekend I just saw body after body being wheeled out.
Still, many people fail to realize the severity of COVID-19.
Our ICUs are completely overwhelmed. We're having to make decisions as to who might get an ICU bed, which means that the people that don't usually and typically have poor outcome.
Undertaking the series, it was something that I wanted to do to give back a little something or to show some appreciation.
For some of the bigger portraits Okamura has done, 50% of the proceeds will be donated to a charity of the subject's choice. Mia Hildebrandt, NAIT NewsWatch, Winnipeg.
Well, I hope everyone can get out and enjoy this nice weather this weekend. I know I'll be heading to the Vic Oval tonight. Maybe I'll see you there.
Got any plans to lace up the skates this weekend, David?
Well, to be honest with you, Tate, even if it was -20 outside, I would still be inside playing Call of Duty. What do you plan on doing?
I think I'm going to be in a similar boat. Probably sit back, have a cold one, maybe play some Geometry Wars. But I'm Tate Lakecraft.
And I'm David Udo, wishing you all a good weekend.